The rescue, 800 words. The stars were quiet that night. Space stretched like an endless ocean, black and cold, with only the soft glow of dying suns to mark the way. On the edge of this darkness drifted a broken alien ship. Its hull was torn, engines silent, metal twisted as if a giant hand had crushed it. Fires burned inside, and bodies floated through shattered glass. It had been ambushed by raiders fast, cruel, merciless. The raiders left nothing but death. But inside the wreck, a few survivors still breathed. They were from a small alien species called the Relorians, a peaceful people known for trade, not war. Their captain, Arvin, struggled through smoke and sparks, trying to reach the escape bay. His crew followed, carrying the wounded Dot as they searched the wreck for supplies. One of the crew called out, "Captain, there's something." "Here." They dragged open a heavy door twisted by the blast. Inside the dark cell lay a figure chained to the wall. Not one of their kind, not a raider. Something else. The figure lifted his head slowly. His face was bruised, his skin pale but strong, his eyes sharp, burning with a strange fire locked on them. It was a human. The crew froze. The galaxy had stories about humans, old, dark stories. They were Deathworlders, creatures who survived on worlds where no one else could live. Dangerous, unpredictable. Some said they were extinct. Others whispered that if you ever found one, you should run. "Is it alive?" Arvin asked quietly. The human gave a weak laugh, his voice rough. "Alive enough, thanks to you opening that door." The crew hesitated. Saving him could mean trouble. The Galactic Empire, the one that ruled over most star systems, had outlawed humans long ago. Anyone helping them risked punishment, maybe. Even destruction. "Captain," one of the crew whispered nervously, "we can't keep him. If the patrols find out." But the human spoke again. His voice was low, but steady, almost like a warning. "You don't understand. By saving me, you've already chosen. And soon Earth will know." The words sent a shiver through the crew. Earth? The name sounded like a ghost, a myth. No one had heard of Earth for centuries. They thought humanity had vanished, crushed under the weight of the Empire. Arvin stepped closer. "Who are you?" The human raised his head, chains rattling. Despite his wounds, there was pride in his eyes. "My name doesn't matter. What matters is you saved a human. That means you saved all of us. And when Earth comes, it doesn't. Come quietly." The room went silent. The Relorian crew looked at each other, unsure whether to believe him. Arvin made a choice. He reached for the chains and broke the lock with a cutter. The human collapsed forward, breathing hard, but caught himself. Even weak, he stood taller than them, like a shadow of steel. "We'll take him," Arvin said firmly. "No one deserves to be left in chains." The crew argued, voices rising in fear, but Arvin silenced them. "If we let him die, what does that make us? Raiders? No, we're better than that." They carried the human back to their medical bay. As they worked to heal him, he said little, only watching them with sharp eyes. Sometimes he would whisper to himself in a language none of them understood. And then, one night, when the ship's lights flickered in the darkness, he spoke clearly. "You've done something brave," he said to Arvin, "but also something dangerous. The galaxy doesn't forgive this. They'll come for you. They'll burn your home. But Earth—" His lips curled into a faint smile. "Earth never forgets. Earth always answers." Arvin felt a chill. "Answers how?" The human leaned back, his eyes glowing in the dim light, with fire. At that moment, the ship's long-range scanners picked up a strange signal. A pulse of energy, sharp and encrypted, firing from their system into the void. None of the Relorian crew had sent it. They looked at the human, and he only closed his eyes. "What did you do?" Arvin asked. "I sent a message," the human said softly. "Home will hear me, and when they do—" He paused, then whispered, "Your kindness will be repaid 1,000 times over, for better or worse." The Relorians felt the weight of his words. They had rescued a stranger, but not just any stranger. They had saved something the galaxy feared, something powerful, something that was never supposed to return. As their ship limped toward safe space, the crew whispered among themselves. Had they doomed their people? Or had they just gained the most powerful ally in the galaxy? The human said nothing more. He only stared out into the endless stars, waiting. And somewhere, far away, in the deep black of the void, something stirred. Something huge. Something human. Asterisk. Whispers of war. 800 words. The Relorian ship drifted through space like a wounded bird. Its engines coughed, its hull still cracked from the ambush. But inside, the crew carried something far heavier than broken metal, a secret that could shake the galaxy. A human. The rescued man sat quietly in the med bay, wrapped in bandages. His wounds were healing too fast. The crew had seen many species recover from battle, but never like this. The human's eyes burned with energy, his body strong even after days of pain. Captain Arvin watched him with unease. Every time the human spoke, it felt less like words and more like thunder waiting to break. Why send a signal? Arvin finally asked. Why bring danger to my people? The human looked at him calmly. Because danger was already coming. The moment you opened that door, you declared yourselves. You think the Empire doesn't know? They will smell this like blood in water. Better to call Earth first, before the hunters arrive. Arvin shivered. The Empire, the Council of Dominion, ruled over thousands of worlds. They punished betrayal without mercy. And saving a human was the greatest betrayal of all. Whispers spread word traveled faster than light. Somewhere, somehow, the story leaked. A Relorian ship has rescued a human. It began as a whisper in backwater bars, then a rumor across trade stations, then a headline flashing across networks. Species across the galaxy froze in shock. A human? Alive? Impossible. Humanity was supposed to be gone, erased centuries ago. But if the rumor was true, then something terrible was coming. The Relorian Council soon received a message from the Dominion. Cold, final, return the human, or face extermination. The chamber fell into silence. Ministers argued, voices shaking with fear. We cannot fight the Dominion, one said. If we hand him over, maybe they will spare us, said another. But Captain Arvin stood before. His face pale, but his voice steady. If we give him up, what does that make us? We saved his life. To hand him back to chains, we would be no better than raiders. The council looked at him with horror. Did he not understand? The Dominions. Fleets numbered in the tens of thousands. Reloria had no army, no defense, only trade and hope. The human's words. That night, the human addressed the council himself. You fear the Dominion, he said. His voice echoed across the chamber. You think they are unbreakable. But they bleed, and when they bleed, they fall. One minister sneered. And who will make them bleed? You, alone? The human smiled faintly. No, not me. Earth. The ministers whispered nervously. Earth? That world is gone. Burned. Lost. But the human's eyes narrowed. You believe the stories they fed you. But Earth remembers everything. You saved one of us. That means Earth is already coming. The chamber shook with his words. For a moment, no one dared speak. The first shadow days later, the Relorian ship limped into orbit around their homeworld. The crew stepped out, relieved to be alive. But above their planet, The stars were not empty. Something was there. A dark shape, silent and waiting. At first, they thought it was Dominion scouts. Panic filled the crew. But when the scanners locked onto the ship, every screen froze. The signature was unknown. Old, alien, yet somehow familiar. The human rose to his feet in the medbay, a slow smile crossing his face. They heard me. A single warship descended through the clouds, its hull black as midnight, its design unlike anything in Dominion records. Its size dwarfed the Relorian Capitol towers. It carried no markings, no banners, only one word etched into its side, glowing faintly in old Terran letters: vigilance. The Relorians stared in silence. The ministers, the soldiers, the citizens, everyone saw it. The human whispered, almost to himself, "The first has come. The others will follow." The galaxy holds its breath across the Dominion. News spread like fire. Reports confirmed it. A human warship had entered Relorian space. Old powers that thought Earth destroyed now began to tremble. The Dominion High Council met in rage. Destroy Reloria. Crush their world before more humans appear. Armadas were assembled. Fleets of warships prepared to burn everything that had dared defy them. But in the shadows, whispers grew louder. Some enslaved species dared to hope. Could it be true? Could humanity really have survived, hidden in the dark, building strength? All these centuries? The silent promise on Reloria. The people looked to the skies with fear and awe. The giant warship floated above them, unmoving like a guardian. The human they had rescued stood tall, watching it with fierce pride. "You saved me," he said quietly to Captain Arvin. "And because of that, Earth will save you." Arvin swallowed hard. Save us or destroy us? The human's gaze never left the warship. His answer was simple, almost like a vow. "That depends on the galaxy's choice, but one truth will never change." He turned, eyes blazing with fire no alien had ever seen. Earth never forgets, and Earth always answers. And so, the stars waited. Armies gathered. Whispers became storms. A single rescue had set the galaxy on fire. The war had not yet begun. But everyone knew it was coming. Asterisk. Earth's warning, 800 words. The Relorian capital world had never seen a shadow so large. Above its skies, the black warship Vigilance floated silently, like a giant blade ready to fall. It did not fire. It did not move. It only watched. Its very presence sent shivers across the planet. Crowds filled the streets, staring upward. Fear spread like fire. Was this ship here to protect them or destroy them? Inside the council chamber, voices shouted over one another. "This is madness." A minister cried, "If the Dominion learns of this ship, they will send their fleets to erase us." Another slammed the table. "And if we resist the humans, they may erase us themselves. Do you not see? We are trapped." Captain Arvin stood silent. His eyes kept drifting to the human they had rescued. The man's wounds were healing faster than any medic thought possible. He now stood tall, strong, his presence filling the chamber. With quiet power, he spoke only when the shouting reached its peak. "You worry about the Dominion," he said calmly. "But they are already coming. What you should worry about is whether Earth sees you as friend or foe." The room froze. The signal without warning. The Vigilance moved. Its engines glowed with a light so dark and bright, at once it hurt the eyes. The ship rose higher into orbit and released a burst of energy, an encrypted wave that pulsed across the stars. The Relorian defense scanners screamed. "They're broadcasting a signal." To whom? The ministers demanded. The humans. Lips curled into a sharp smile. "To everyone who matters." Moments later, every Dominion communication hub lit up with a single message. The signal was not in Dominion code. It was in Terran Standard. 3 words. We are here. The galaxy froze. The Dominions rage in the Dominion's capital. The High Council gathered in fury. Holographic maps lit up with reports. A human ship had appeared. A human signal had spread across the stars. The Emperor slammed his fist onto the table. It is impossible. Humanity was destroyed centuries ago. But the intelligence minister spoke quietly, her voice trembling. Impossible, and yet true. The Terrans have returned. The Emperor's eyes burned with hatred. Then we will erase them again. Double the fleets, send armadas to Reloria. Burn the traitors, and bring me the human alive. Across the galaxy, warships were prepared. Engines roared. Armies moved. The Dominion thought it was preparing for another purge. It did not yet understand that the fleet awakens back above Reloria. The human watched the skies from the council chamber window. His eyes narrowed as he saw faint ripples in space. They're coming, he whispered. Arvin turned sharply. Who? Dominion fleets. The human shook his head. No, not them. Ours. The ripple grew into a tear of light. And then, from the void, another Terran ship emerged, bigger than Vigilance. Its hull gleamed with scars of old battles. Its guns turned silently, like wolves sniffing the wind. Then another ship arrived, and another. One by one, the black warships filled the skies. Each carried names etched in Terran letters defiance. Guardian, Iron Will, Dawn Fire. The people of Reloria gasped as the fleet assembled above their world. Dozens, then hundreds. The human looked to Arvin and the ministers, his voice low and steady. You saved one of us. That means you are under our shield. Earth does not abandon those who show mercy. The warning, a sudden transmission, boomed across every channel in the system. The voice was not the rescued humans. It was another, deep and commanding, carrying the weight of countless battles. This is Admiral Hayes of the Terran Defense Fleet. People of Reloria, we have heard your act of kindness. For saving one of our own, you now stand under Earth's protection. No power in this galaxy will harm you, not while a single Terran ship draws breath. The words echoed across the planet. Many fell to their knees in relief. Others trembled in fear, but then the voice grew colder. And to the Dominion, who even now prepares to strike, know this. If you come, we will not answer with words. We will answer with fire. You will learn once again what it means to make war with humanity. The transmission ended. Silence followed. But the silence was not peace. It was dread. The choice Captain Arvin looked at the human. You said Earth never forgets. But why us? Why protect us? The man's eyes softened. For the first time. Because you did what no one else dared. You saved a human life. And for us, that is enough. Arvin whispered, almost to himself. Then the galaxy will never be the same. The human nodded slowly. No, it won't. This was Earth's warning. The Dominion has only one chance. Left to step back. If they don't. He looked to the growing fleet in the skies. Weapons ready, engines burning. Then the galaxy will remember humanity in fire and steel. The storm approaches in the dark between stars. Dominion fleets. Already moved. Thousands of ships, banners of conquest flying, engines burning toward Reloria. But waiting for them, humanity's fleet spread its wings wide, like predators ready to strike. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy realized a forgotten truth. Earth was not gone. Earth was not weak. Earth was waiting. And now, Earth was awake the first battle, 800 words. The stars above Reloria were no longer calm. On one side, the Dominion armada arrived in waves, thousands of warships, their hulls gleaming. Silver, banners of conquest burning across the void. Engines roared like thunder. The Dominion's voice carried only one command: destroy everything that dared defy them. On the other side, the Terran fleet waited. Hundreds of black warships hung in silence. They did not move, did not boast, did not broadcast threats. They simply waited. Like predators in tall grass, their stillness was more terrifying than any shout. From the ground below, Reloria's citizens watched the sky. Their world had become the stage for something greater than themselves. Fear and hope clashed inside their hearts. The Dominion's arrogance inside the flagship of the Dominion. Admiral Kareth sneered at the display. Pitiful, he said. So this is Earth's great return? A few hundred ships? Against the Dominion? They are children playing with knives. His officers laughed with him. The Dominion ruled half the galaxy. Their fleets outnumbered the Terrans 10-1. This was no war. This was extermination. Send a message, Kareth ordered. Tell the Relorians their protection is worthless. Tell the humans they will die like their ancestors. The silence breaks. A single Terran ship moved. It was the Defiance, its black hull scarred but unbroken. Slowly, it glided forward, leaving the protective circle of the fleet. Admiral Hayes's voice echoed across open channels. Calm, cold, unshaken. This is your final warning. Leave Relorian space, or learn again why no empire survives a war. With Earth, the Dominion flagship roared with laughter. Kareth leaned forward, teeth bared. Fire. Thousands of Dominion cannons lit up the void. Red fire poured across space like rivers of death. The first volley was meant to overwhelm, to end the fight before it began. But when the light cleared, the Terran fleet still stood out the answer of Earth. The Defiance spoke first. Its guns lit with white fire, brighter than a sun. One shot, just one, cut through a Dominion cruiser. The massive ship split apart in silence, drifting as ash across the void. Then, as if answering some ancient signal, the rest of the Terran fleet opened fire. Black warships erupted in coordinated fury. There, weapons were not just guns, they were storms. Kinetic slugs faster than light, beams that tore through shields as if they were air, missiles that curved like hunters tracking prey. Where Dominion fleets moved like armies, the Terrans moved like predators. Every shot was precise. Every strike was fatal. Within minutes, hundreds of Dominion ships burned. On Reloria, the night sky glowed with fire. Citizens screamed, prayed, or stared in stunned silence as streaks of destruction lit the heavens. The humans' eyes in the council chamber, Captain Arvin, and the ministers stood frozen, watching the battle unfold on giant screens. The rescued. Humans stood among them, arms crossed, his face lit by the glow of war. His voice was quiet, but heavy with pride. Do you see? This is Earth's way. We do not fight to survive. We fight to end. Arvin's voice shook. They are unstoppable. The human turned to him. No, we are not gods. We can be killed. But when we fight together, when Earth rises, the galaxy itself trembles. The turning point, the Dominion flagship finally joined the fight. Its guns fired in fury, hammering the Terran lines. Dozens of Terran ships were struck. Some burned, some fell. Humanity bled, but it did not break. Admiral Hayes gave the command. Vigilance, Defiance cut off their flagship. Show them what it means to touch Earth. 2 Terran ships surged forward, moving faster than physics should allow. They cut through enemy fire, shields bending but not breaking. The Vigilance fired a single spear of light. It pierced the Dominion flagships. Shields shattering them like glass dot. Then the Defiance rammed forward, unleashing a full broadside. The Dominion's pride, their mighty flagship, erupted in a fireball that lit half the battlefield. Admiral Kareth's last words were lost in static. The shockwave, the Dominion fleet faltered. Their lines broke. Ships turned in panic. They had come to crush, to dominate, to burn. But now they were prey. The Terran fleet pressed forward with merciless precision. Every retreating ship was hunted. Every survivor carried the same message back across the stars. Earth is back. And Earth remembers. On Reloria, crowds wept, some with relief, some with fear, for they realized something terrifying. Humanity was not just fighting for survival. Humanity was fighting to prove a point, the quiet after. Hours later, the battle was over. Dominion wrecks drifted like shattered bones. The Terran fleet stood victorious, their black holes glowing with the fire of battle scars. Hayes's voice spoke again across the galaxy. This was your lesson. You came to kill one. You lost thousands. If the Dominion desires war, Earth will bring war. If you desire peace, then speak now, because the next battle will not end here. It will end on your capital. Silence answered Dot, the whisper. That became a roaring. The dark corners of the galaxy. Enslaved worlds heard the news. The humans had returned. They had crushed a Dominion fleet. They had drawn blood where no one else dared. Whispers became hope. Hope became rebellion. Rebellion began to burn. The galaxy now faced a truth it had long buried. Humanity had not only survived exile, it had grown sharper, stronger, deadlier. Dot, and with a single battle, the war had truly begun. The rebellion awakens. 800 words. The wreckage of the Dominion fleet still burned in Reloria's skies when the whispers began. They traveled faster than light, faster than ships, faster than fear itself. Whispers of a truth no one had dared believe for centuries. Earth had returned. The Dominion had bled. The humans had won. The Sparkon, the mining world of Zorith. Slaves worked under the whips of Dominion overseers. Their hands were raw, their backs scarred. For generations, no one had dared resist. But then the secret channel lit up. A smuggled signal reached the workers' images of Terran ships, cutting through Dominion cruisers. A Dominion flagship torn apart in fire. The slaves dropped their tools. For the first time in their lives, they looked at each other not with despair, but with fire in their eyes. If the humans can fight them, one whispered, then so can we. That day, a pickaxe became a weapon. That day, the first overseer fell. The fear of the Dominion in the Dominion capital. Panic spread through the High Council. Reports came flooding in. Slave uprisings on 3 worlds. Desertion in their outer fleets. Systems refusing tribute. This cannot be real. A counselor shouted, "It is only one battle." But another whispered the truth. One battle is enough when it is fought by humans. The Emperor's eyes burned with rage. Crush the rebels. Burn their worlds. And hunt Earth until no star can hide them. Yet even he knew the truth. Fear had entered his empire. And fear spreads faster than fire. The choice of Reloria. Captain Arvin stood before the Terran. Admiral Hayes. The council chamber still trembled from the echoes of battle. "You saved us," Arvin said. "But you've also painted a target on our world. The Dominion will never forgive us for siding with you." Admiral Hayes's expression was stone. "That is true, but you are not alone anymore. Earth does not abandon those who stand with." U.S., the Relorian ministers argued. Some wanted to join the humans openly. Others wanted to hide, to beg for Dominion mercy. Arvin raised his voice above them. "Look outside. The Dominion bled, and they will bleed again. I say we take the chance. Stand with Earth, or forever live on our knees." The chamber fell silent. For the first time in history, Reloria chose defiance. The humans promised the rescued human, now fully healed, stood beside Arvin. His gaze was fierce, but his voice carried hope. "You saw what happened when you saved one of us. Now imagine what happens when you fight beside us." Earth's war fleet is not just here to protect. We are here to change everything. Arvin's eyes met his. And if we fall? The human's lips curved into a grim smile. Then we fall. Together. But we will never kneel. The fires spread across the galaxy. Rebellion ignited like sparks in dry grass. On the desert world of Koresh, gladiators rose from the arenas, breaking their chains, chanting the name Earth. On the frozen colonies of Iran, miners detonated the tunnels, burying Dominion garrisons alive. On the jungle moon of Theris, hunters painted their faces in blood and ambushed Dominion patrols, whispering Terran war songs they had never known, but somehow remembered. Everywhere the same cry echoed. If the humans fight, then so will we. The warning to Earth, but rebellion was not without cost. The Dominion struck back with fury. Worlds burned. Cities fell. Millions screamed under fire. From the shadows, desperate messages reached the Terran fleet. Pleas for help, cries for weapons, calls for leadership. Admiral Hayes gathered his commanders. His voice was heavy, knowing the weight of the choice. The galaxy is rising because of us. But if we do nothing, they will all die for us. The Dominion will make examples of them. The commanders looked at one another. They all knew what this meant. To fight for Reloria was one thing. To fight for the galaxy was another. The oath the rescued human stepped forward. His voice carried the memory of exile, the pain of loss, and the promise of vengeance. 300 years ago, the galaxy betrayed us. They left Earth to die. We swore we would return. And now we are here not only for ourselves, but for every world that has ever known chains. He raised his hand, fist clenched. No more slaves. No more tyrants. From this day forward, every act of rebellion is under Earth's shield. Let the Dominion come. Let them send their fleets. Humanity does not hide. Humanity fights. The Terran fleet roared its engines in answer. The dawn of war on Reloria's horizon, the black ships turned their weapons outward. Not just to defend, but to lead. Every channel across the stars carried Earth's new declaration. To all who resist, rise. We are with you. And across the galaxy, billions heard those words. Billions believed. The rebellion was no longer a whisper. It was a storm dot, and at its heart, guiding it with fire and steel, was Earth. Asterisk, Dominion's revenge, 800 words. The galaxy burned with rebellion. Chains were broken. Overseers fell. For the first time in centuries, hope spread faster than fear, but hope had a price. The Dominion was an empire built on cruelty, and cruelty always strikes back. The Emperor's wrath in the throne halls of the Dominion capital. Emperor Velos stood before the shattered council. His robes shimmered with power, his eyes with cold. Fury. You allowed this, he hissed, pointing at his trembling advisors. One human saved, one Terran fleet victorious. And now my empire burns. No one dared answer. Vales's voice dropped, like a knife sliding from its sheath. Then, we will remind the galaxy why we rule. Summon it. The chamber shook as ancient vaults opened beneath the capital. Lights glowed, engines roared, and something vast began to wake. The Dominion's true weapon. A weapon even whispers had feared. The Revenant fleet from the Shadow Docks rose ships unlike any other. Their hulls were black as night, their engines pulsed with unnatural fire. They were not built. They were forged. Forged from the remains of dead stars, bound with alien secrets stolen long ago. They were called the Revenants, not ordinary ships, not living crews. These vessels were controlled by machines soulless, endless, merciless. And at their head stood the World Breaker, a warship so large it blotted out suns, its cannons capable of shattering entire planets. The Dominion had never needed to use them before. until Earth returned. The first strike, the Revenants moved without warning. Their first target was Koresh, the desert world where gladiators had risen against their masters. The rebels thought they were free. They sang Earth's name. They raised broken chains into the sky dot, then the sky split apart. The world breaker fired once, just once, and Koresh was gone, not conquered, not enslaved, gone. A burning desert turned to glass. Millions silenced in a single breath. The Dominion's message spread faster than screams. This is the price of rebellion. The fear returns across the galaxy. Rebellions trembled. Some worlds went silent. Others begged Earth for protection. On Reloria, the Council panicked. "If they bring that weapon here, we are finished," one minister cried. Captain Arvin slammed his fist on the table. "Then we cannot wait for them to strike us. We must strike first." But fear had returned. Some Relorians whispered of surrender. Others wondered if siding with humans had doomed them all. The Terran dilemma in a Terran flagship defiance. Admiral Hayes watched the recordings of Koresh's destruction. His jaw tightened. "This is different," he muttered. "We can fight fleets. We can win battles. But this is annihilation." The rescued human stood beside him. His voice was steady, but his eyes burned. This is what they always were. The Dominion rules through fear. If we bow now, every rebellion dies. If we fight, we may die. But the galaxy will remember we did not kneel. Hayes closed his eyes. He knew the truth. The Terran fleet could not match the Revenants head-on. To win, they would need more than weapons. They would need allies. The call across the stars. Earth sent out a new message. Not just to rebels, not just to allies, to everyone. Humanity does not stand alone. If the Dominion can destroy worlds, then we must unite every world. Stand with us or fall one by one. The choice is yours. Some worlds ignored the call, some cowered, but others, small, broken, desperate, answered. Scattered fleets limped from the shadows. Pirates, smugglers, old warlords, all drawn by Earth's defiance. For the first time, the galaxy saw something greater than fear. Unity. The Dominion moves, but the Dominion was not idle. The Revenant fleet advanced, one system at a time. Planets burned. Cities vanished. The galaxy's map began to darken with ash. On every world, the same question echoed. Will Earth stand against the world breaker? The choice of humanity in the Terran War Council. Silence hung heavy. To fight the Revenant fleet meant risking everything. To run meant betraying the galaxy that had just begun to hope. Admiral Hayes looked around the room. His officers, tired but unbroken. The rescued human, fire in his eyes. Captain Arvin, representing the first alien world to believe in Earth again. Hayes rose. His voice was steel. 300 years ago, the galaxy cast us out. They thought Earth would vanish, but we endured. And now, if the Dominion wants war, we will give it. Even against their monsters. Even against their world breaker. Because humanity does not run. The Council erupted in approval. Engines roared. The Terran fleet turned toward the Dominion. The final shadow, but deep inside, Hayes knew the truth. The battle to come would not be like the others. The Dominion had revealed its strongest card, and Earth would either break it, or be broken forever. As the Terran fleet prepared, the galaxy held its breath. For the first time in history, not just worlds, not just systems, but an entire galaxy waited for Earth's next move. And in the distance, the world breaker moved. Closer, its guns hungry for fire. Asterisk, Earth's last stand, 800 words. The galaxy had never seen such a fleet. From every corner of the stars, ships gathered. Relorian cruisers, pirate frigates, Iran mining barges reforged into war machines, even. ancient vessels long forgotten. They were scarred, weak, and mismatched. But together, they were more than they had ever been alone. At their center stood Earth's Black Fleet Terran warships, gleaming like knives in the dark. Ahead of them loomed the shadow of death itself. The world breaker. The shadow across the U. Stars it moved like a dark moon, blotting out the light of suns. Its guns were larger than cities. Each shot could end a world. And behind it, the Revenant Fleet's soulless warships that obeyed without fear, without hesitation, without mercy. Dominion's voice rang across every channel, cold and certain. Rebels will burn. Earth will fall. The galaxy will kneel again. But no one kneeled. Not this time. The battle begins. The fleets collided in fire. Stars burned with weapons fire. Thousands of ships clashed at once, the galaxy itself trembling. Terran destroyers darted between revenant behemoths, striking fast and vanishing before their soulless cannons could lock. Pirate frigates swarmed like hornets, tearing at the Dominion's flanks. Relorian ships shielded the weaker vessels, taking blow after blow. Their hulls cracked, their crews bled, but they held. For every Dominion ship destroyed, 10 more still. Advanced. And above it all, the world breaker waited, silent, patient, like a predator choosing when to strike. The first shot, when it fired, the galaxy shook. A beam of white fire cut through space, striking a Erin colony moon. The moon shattered into dust, its pieces scattering into endless night. Billions screamed. But even in that moment of horror, the Terran fleet did not retreat. The plan on the Defiance, Admiral Hayes stood tall. "We cannot outgun it," he said. "But even the strongest beast has a heart. We aim for its core." A hologram of the world breaker glowed red. It's powered by a stolen star, bound inside its core. If we break that, the weapon dies. But to get close, his eyes hardened. We'll have to cut through hell itself. The rescued human stepped forward, voice steady. Then we do it. For every world they've burned, for every chain they forged, we finish this. The run Terran battleships formed a spearhead, driving toward the monster. Revenant ships swarmed, blocking their path, their black hulls unbreakable. Relorian. Ships surged forward, sacrificing themselves to clear the way. Pirate frigates rammed revenants, tearing themselves apart so the humans could pass. The united fleet bled for Earth. At last, the Defiance and its escort reached the world breaker. The shadow of its cannons swallowed them whole. Inside, the beast strike. Teams launched, small craft weaving between its cannons, slipping into the cracks of the giant warship. The rescued human led one of them. His boots hit the black metal of the enemy's hull. His heart pounded, but his hands were steady. "This is for Koresh," he whispered. "For every soul they burned." Inside, the corridors glowed with sick light. Machines stirred. Revenant. Drones swarmed, claws clicking. The humans fought through them, every step closer to the core. The heart of fire. At last, they reached it. A chamber glowing with impossible light. A star, bound in chains of black metal, pulsed like a living heart. The source of the world breaker's power. The rescued human stared at it. His eyes widened. "It's alive." Hayes's voice crackled in his come. "Destroy it. Now." He raised the charges. But the drones came, endless, swarming, tearing into the Terran soldiers. One by one they fell. The charges dropped. The human grabbed them, blood on his hands, eyes blazing. "There's no time," he said. "Someone has to stay." The sacrifice's comrades shouted. Hayes's voice broke through static. "Don't you dare." But the human only smiled. "You saved me once. Now let me save all of you." He slammed the charges into the chains and stood tall as the light swallowed him. The star broke free. The world breaker screamed. The end of the monster. across the battlefield, every screen lit with fire as the world-breaker tore itself apart. Hull cracked, its cannons melted. The stolen star burst free, devouring the monster from within. Revenant ships collapsed, their control severed. The Dominion fleet faltered, and the galaxy roared. The dawn when the smoke cleared, the Defiance floated. Among wreckage, thousands of ships were gone. Millions had died, but the Dominion's greatest weapon was destroyed. The Emperor's voice no longer thundered. His empire was broken. On every world, rebels rose higher. Slaves became soldiers. The galaxy's chains shattered dot, and at the heart of it, the name whispered again and again. Earth. The Promise Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge, his hand over his chest. He thought of the human who had given everything in the core. He looked out at the stars, voice steady. We were cast out once. We were forgotten, but no more. Humanity is here. And we fight not just for ourselves, but for all. The galaxy listened. And for the first time, it believed. Asterisk.